Hey guys, it's your boy R's back at it again, and as I promised, even though I'm kind of tired and it's like 2 in the morning, I'm making this video for this 103
This is a
review
Chuki
for
Beat
Dragon Ball
production.
Super, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually wasn't that disappointed with this episode. This was actually yeah, it was a pretty good episode. All in all, pretty good episode. But I have a rant for you guys at the end, so you weren't mistaken. You'll see it towards the end. We're gonna have to have a little talk. But let's just go over the episode for now. So to start off, Ribriand, the girl you're seeing in this screenshot, is pretty salty that her friend got knocked off. I can't remember what her name is. Kakusan, whatever. She got knocked off because she got the hands from 17. And for some reason, they essentially started role playing in the middle of the battlefield. And 17 plays along, says, "Well, I guess I'm evil." They swap hands for a little bit. It seems like they're a pretty even match, while they're both holding back. So, I mean, there wasn't a lot to see here. They didn't really go on for an extended period of time. After that, they switch back to Goku, who's for some reason just getting fucking raffle stomped by Rosie. And I'm like, dude, use instant transmission. Why are you struggling against this weakling? And for some reason, 17 has to come out of nowhere and save this guy's ass because apparently Goku is now retarded and is incapable of using instant transmission when he should be. And then as soon as I start thinking that, and 17 goes back to fighting Ribrianne, he finally decides to use instant transmission. Turns around, I think he surrounded her with Ki Blast, and then he literally pulls a 17. Like, do the writers think they were stupid? Like, they literally pulled the same shit they did the last episode. Literally the same ending, like word for word. Your fighting style was worth studying. And then he does like the exact same key wave that 17 did against Kakusa and essentially just knocks her all the way to the edge of the ring. So I was like, okay, I mean, he shouldn't have been basically getting bitched up for like at least a full minute. I mean, I don't understand why this fight took so long. Instant transmission would have put this fight to an end. But whatever, I guess we gotta have some filler fights, am I right? Gotta fill up time somehow. And then, of course, it appears at this point that Ribrianne and Rosie are just completely fucked. I mean, they're going up against 17 and Goku, who are relativistic to each other. And, I mean, these guys only seem like they're maybe Super Saiyan level with God Essence. I don't think they're any further than that. I could be wrong. But they're basically fucked until Universe 2's... What is his name again? I wrote it down. Gmez. Their yard drag comes out of nowhere, uses instant transmission, and saves their asses. Goku and 17 have a little bit of a traversing. This stupid ass trope about not letting your guard down comes up again. And then we go on to the next fight, which lasts for... I thought this was funny, man. This guy was literally so unimportant that he was... His fight lasted for 5 seconds off screen. G-Mez just freaking beams him off the side, and there's not a lot to go into that. At that point, we basically come to the conclusion that there's only 2 fighters left in Universe 10. And we'll get to there in a little bit. Finally, we see Botomo versus Gohan. Gohan says, you know, I got this, Piccolo. This guy ain't shit. I mean, it makes sense because because Goku has fought him and Vegeta has fought him. So I mean, Gohan should have been able to come up with a strategy to defeat this guy. And it appeared at the start that Gohan was just wildly swinging at Bosomo. And even I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, you do realize he's just going to absorb all that damage. But this is where Gohan's intellect truly came in play, and I'm glad they actually added an intellectual and technical part of fighting to this tournament, like 17 does. And I mean, this whole episode, like even in general, like the fighting has been very technical. Where excuse me, whether it was the way that Goku handled Rosie, again, it seemed like a cop out because it looked like he just copied the same thing 17 did in the episode before. But it seems like this episode is a lot more technical, and it's so much better than just power up. I powered up more than you, so I win. Like, no, it's like actual technicality and actual strategy that's going to. And this whole tournament was supposed to be about techniques, and they waited so many episodes to finally get to a point where you're actually seeing the technique in play, and I appreciate it so very much. So it seemed that Gohan, it looked like he was wailing randomly, but he was actually punching him upwards so that he could send him off his feet, and therefore he wouldn't be able to attack him. And it's a very smart strategy, and it's honestly something that Goku should have came up with in the Universe 6 arc, but Goku's apparently retarded, so he has no battle intelligence anymore. But at least Gohan, he figured it out, right? He starts knocking him up into the air. His feet can't touch the ground, which means that he literally can't do anything since he can't fly. And Winnie the Pooh is a fat ass, so I mean, what's he gonna do? He can't even hit him with Ki Blast because he's literally so fat that he can't aim over his stomach without hitting himself. So he's just basically stuck in midair. And I found it even funnier when oh, I can't even remember what this guy's name. It's Beerus's brother. What is his name again? Who knows? Who cares? Doesn't really matter. But basically, he's telling him to run and jump, and it's like he's already up in the air, and he can't fly. Where the fuck do you expect him to go? So he's just like, run, jump, and he's like, he can't do anything. So Gohan just punches him all the way till he hits the edge of the ring, Kamehamehas him out, and it seemed, of course, they had to pull the he drops his guard trope again. Of course, Gohan was ready. Looks like a badass deflecting Botomo's last resort in damaging Gohan before he goes out. It fails miserably. Gohan looks cool, and Gohan finally gets his first knockout of the entire tournament. Granted, I think Vegeta should have been the one to get rid of him, but hey, this is good too. Gohan finally gets his time to shine. I'm not hating. But the next battle comes up when we see the last two Universe 10 fighters. I wrote down their names as well. What is their names? Obuni and Rubot. And both of them come up. They challenge Gohan and Piccolo. Obunu basically says, you know, Gohan, I like your power. I think that you're a worthy opponent. So Rubot takes Piccolo, Obuni takes Gohan. And I mean, I'm not even going to show you all the screenshots for the Rubo fall, just because it literally ended within like 30 seconds with the classic, the Hell Zone grenade, coming back from the nostalgic 17 and Piccolo fight, and he brings it back, and honestly, once he hit him with that Hell Zone grenade, I mean, I was hyped, but I was like, he's fine, and I was wrong. He completely wrecked that man's life. So Piccolo knocks him out, and we finally get to the main event, the main fight of this episode, which is Obuni versus Gohan. And holy shit, man, Obuni, can we give some applause to Obuni and his technical fighting style, man? I fucks with this guy. What he does basically is he makes clones of himself that essentially distributes his internal energy into different clone pieces, and this basically makes it so that you can sense him, but you have no idea which clone he is. So it's actually a very cool idea that they added. I really appreciate this type of challenge for Gohan, and I mean, it really was a challenge for Gohan for about a minute or two, because you're like, Obani was giving Gohan straight hands. Like, I'm like, I mean, I know Gohan's gonna win, but holy shit, I didn't expect him to wreck him this hard up until this point. But finally, after Gohan just gets raffle stomped, so he's getting hit with so much quickness and so many hands that not even the animation is keeping up. Finally, Gohan goes Mystic, and he starts taking the counters, which, again, more technical play that I appreciate in the episode. He starts taking the hits, and once the hits connected, Obani, of course, at that point, whatever clone hits him is obviously the real Obani, and at that point, he's able to do some effective counter hits. He's still taking damage, as Whis pointed out, but considering how much stamina Gohan has, I mean, it didn't have too much of a detrimental effect. Finally, he's able to collect enough counter hits, hits him with a ki blast to the face since he ran out of energy, because apparently using those feints, I don't think it's the same as like the multi-form technique that Piccolo and Tien use, but it definitely, all those feints definitely use up a lot of his energy. So once his feints ran out, he was basically fucked. Gohan charges up a Kamehameha that we saw in the previews and sends him flying out the ring. And at that point, you already know. You already know what happens at that point. The Zenos raise their hands, and Universe 10 has to take that erasure. Mad respect to Goasu and Ramushi for just taking this erasure like a like, just look at them in their seconds before being erased out of existence, calm and at peace with the fact that they just got completely erased from existence. Like, just complete bosses. Mad respect to them, and mad respect to the last, well, not all the fighters in Universe 10. Let me not stretch it. Mad respect to Obani. I'll give mad respect to him. Everybody else was just like, I guess. But respect to them. To my surprise, though, Universe 9's Angel of Destruction actually wasn't like the same way. Not Universe 9, sorry. Universe 10's Angel of Destruction wasn't as sad. It was actually more sad. And I'm not sure if it was sad or was a combination of being sad and disappointed, but it is a completely opposite reaction from what happened with Universe 9's Angel of Destruction. He just didn't give a fuck. Once his universe got destroyed, he just smirked and was like, man, I ain't give a fuck about those niggas anyway. So I thought this was actually kind of interesting that it appears that all the angels don't treat their their Supreme Kais and their God of Destructions, and they don't hold them all in the same light. So it seems that she actually had like a pretty decent relationship with them, and I mean, it definitely evokes some feels, especially, oh man, dude, when I saw this shit hurt me. The feels were real, because it keeps bringing back the point, like, dude, every time that universe is erased, that is literally trillions of lives just being wiped out in an instant. And I mean, even Gohan couldn't help but being affected by it. He clenched his fists and he just had to close his eyes like, fuck, man. Like, you just keep forgetting how heavy this shit is. Because once you go past all the lights and all the light shows and all the powering up and all the filler and all that shit, like, at the end of the day, like, this tournament just decides the lives of trillions of people who have families. They have wives, kids, husbands, all that shit, and it's just, it's unfortunate. But I mean, they knew what they were getting into. But I'm appreciate the, grounding us and bringing us back to reality. Like, that was a badass fight that Obani and Gohan had. Definitely one of the better fights of the tournament, but it's unfortunate that, all the universes at the end just had to be erased. So, as promised, I said I had a rant. What the fuck? What? Are you... These writers, man. Are these writers actually retarded? You bring back Super Saiyan God now. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad the Super Saiyan God came back. I am 100% glad that it came back. But literally Goku spammed Super Saiyan Blue not once, not twice, but 3 times. According to Akira Toriyama himself, okay, Super Saiyan Blue uses up a lot of stamina every time that it's used. And he uses it 3 times in a row. And you're telling me he could have went Super Saiyan God, which is still at bare minimum an 8,000 times power increase. But no, instead he tries to take it to the highest tier possible, his ultimate form. He uses that 3 times, but now he wants to use Super Saiyan God, the form that uses significantly less ki and less stamina. I cannot be asked with this retarded writing, man. It just doesn't make any sense. Whatever, man. That was. I'm not gonna go way too far into this because like you guys already know, this is literally stupid. Like, this episode overall was pretty good. This is one of the better episodes of the arc, but this is just dumb. I'm hyped for next episode because I want to see Super Saiyan God come back, right? And I want to see him fight with Hit. But he should have been using Super Saiyan God instead of Super Saiyan Blue this entire tournament. Like, he basically just threw out all his cards already. All his cards are on the table at this point except for Kaioken. Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. He starts throwing out all his cards for all of his enemies to see. What was the purpose? I don't know, man. I'm only thing I have are a few predictions. Honestly, one of the things I looked back to in the previous episodes when he first unlocked Super Saiyan God, what a lot of people forget is that Super Saiyan God actually allows you to recover from near fatal wounds. So I'm expecting that using this form, he might be able to recover some injuries that he might have incurred in the past couple of fights that he's had. But I don't know. I mean, if he does, based off of Dragon Ball Z, anytime that you use some type of self-healing or regenerative technique, it uses a lot of stamina, as we saw with Piccolo and as we saw with Cell. Not so much with Boo, but I think Boo just has a lot of stamina and ki. But usually, I would say because this is such a massive power increase, I would say this shouldn't have a massive effect on his stamina. But considering, again, he's used Super Saiyan Blue 3 times. And even though he's massively more powerful than when he first unlocked Super Saiyan God, there's been no indication that he has been able to get over the stamina drain that Super Saiyan Blue incurs. So if he's going to use his healing, I mean, that would have to use up more stamina. And unless they're just giving Goku infinite stamina somehow, because again, I'm failing to understand how because this is only like, I want to say 11 minutes in the tournament has passed, because at the end it said that 37 minutes were left in the tournament, and there's 48 minutes in the tournament. So over the past 11 minutes, okay, let's do a tally. He used Super Saiyan Blue, then he went and used regular Super Saiyan, then he upgraded to Super Saiyan. He used Super Saiyan Blue twice, then he upgraded to Super Saiyan, then he went to Super Saiyan 2, then he used Super Saiyan Blue, now he's using Super Saiyan God. He's used a God transformation 4 times. Has the writers just forgotten that stamina is a thing? For this entire tournament, are we just all supposed to suspend all of our belief, all of our reasoning, all of our logic, and now Goku just has infinite stamina? No stamina drain whatsoever, and there's still 37 freaking minutes left in the tournament. I don't know. That's wild, man. This writing is becoming more suspect episode by episode by episode. I'm gonna end it here. Overall, good episode. I'm not happy with this writing still. Like, I appreciate the writing in the last episode, But this like, my God, I can't even come up with the words, man. Just the writing that has gone through this entire series, like, it's starting to accumulate, and the bad writing is really starting to get into me. I mean, I've been patient. I have a high tolerance for bullshit, but it's time to stop. They need to make very clear the limitations, Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan God. Be clear with the multipliers and stop bullshitting their way through this tournament. That's all I have to say. I hope that you liked this video. Thank you for all my supporters that's come out and watched this video and the videos prior. And thank you and welcome to all my new subscribers. I appreciate all the support. If you like this this new format I did, basically I did some screenshots, threw them into a PowerPoint, and I basically try to do like a story time sort of review. So if you like this, instead of me just, you know, going off the cuff without a script, let me know. I'm glad to do it like this. It's actually a lot simpler than me trying to use video footage, which usually usually ends with my videos being claimed. But I'm gonna end it here before I go too long. Thanks for all the support. Your boy R's is out.